Hi, my name is Sam Bowen. I'm the creator of Sam Sleuth Stereotypical Noir Detective. I am joined by my wife, Lauren.
Hello.
She is, I'm going to call her co-creator. She does a lot for it. Anyway, we'll get to that as we go on. And of course, we're joined by the real star of Sam Sleuth, Barry. Before I actually begin, I kind of want to do a little bit of an explanation. So my first thought was that I would like to do some sort of web series of just us being ourselves, because I think we're fun and interesting people.
You're very generous.
Yeah, well, I mean, so rather, but, like my first thought was like, so it's just our lives. We're just talking about whatever. I feel like we need something to focus on. And so we are going to do director's commentaries for the Sam Sleuth, where we will also go into tangents and talk about whatever we want to talk about, because that's the point of this whole thing.
But I think this is a bargain, because you're not just getting a director's commentary. You're getting the star, the editor, the writer, the gaffer, the
real star.
Obviously, our favorite Easter egg is Barry.
That brings me to, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was that opening to the, you're referring to the Christmas greeting thing that I did, where I went off on all the different things that I did, where it made me seem like an arrogant prick, and I was going for that. And that's honestly not me. Like, I am proud of Sam Sleuth, but I don't think it's the greatest thing in the world, and, it needs a lot of work, but it's something fun that's keeping us busy during, well, sort of, that was designed to keep us busy during the quarantine.
And it did that for a bit.
Yeah, it did.
We need to get back to it.
We certainly do. And another thing... And an exaggeration, I should say, in that Christmas, that holiday greeting was me being depressed, which I am depressed. I hate to say I suffer from depression, because, I don't want to say I'm suffering when I just get a little sad sometimes. But, it's a thing. I have depression. I'm dealing with it. Don't worry about it. I wasn't going for sympathy or anything when I did that Christmas message. But I was exaggerating a problem that I do have. I'm getting way off topic, which is okay. We're going to allow this, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I'd like to say, I don't think it's, even though you were doing it for comedic effect, it's not bragging to take ownership of all the roles or thing. Part of the fun of doing... Nice, much better.
I forgot about that.
Thank you. Part of the fun of doing Sam Sleuth is that it is just the two of us. It, as you said, It was born out of we're stuck indoors during COVID, what could we do? And the challenge of, let's produce something entirely in the space we have, which is hopefully part of the comedy, with just the two of us. So everything has to be just us. And it's forced us to learn a business we didn't have much information on, and just figure out how to do every part just ourselves. And that's been really exciting and fun and filled with failure, but in a good way.
Right. And I forgot what I was going to say. You threw me off my train of thought. Sorry. Darn it. Now I have to go off on a tangent. We're watching Letterkenny now. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, we really are. It's a really fun show. But the thing I was going to say is that we are severely limited in what we can do financially, just everything. I'm doing things on my Samsung. Right, I don't even remember which model of Samsung it is. I'm not a big tech guy, but I'm sure you've noticed things like the audio's not great if you've watched it, and that's just one of the things that comes with it. We are... Oh, now a cat joined the room. We'll see if she gets on camera. I think she's going to back off.
But that's also part of our fun challenge, I think. Part of it has been, and it has to be within what we have. Like, we can't spend a lot of money. We can't go shopping for things. So it's forced us to be creative.
Yeah, and I am proud of the choices that we make. There's at least one choice we'll get to in a future commentary that it's just a fun thing we had to do. Just... there were only two of us. Someone needed to work the camera, and there needed to be two people on screen. So, that's episode 3, which we'll get to later.
I love that part.
So right now we're going to start watching it, and we're going to talk about it as we go. So, I'm using Windows Movie Maker is the program I'm using, by the way. Oh, there's my wedding ring. I don't even wear that anymore.
And the nail polish that you didn't fully remove from your nails.
Nope. But that was...
That's our cat Bronwyn helping out.
Yeah, here's a joke that I don't know if landed. It's just a playlist that's just
I like
for
your
delicious.
funky friend. I heard someone comment on.
That's true.
At least it was noticed as something silly, if not fully appreciated.
Also, something somebody noticed, which was in this shot, you couldn't clean up the mess on that chair back there.
No.
It's always the way, isn't it?
The personal vibrator in the corner, or the...
Yeah. This is, I mean, to call this half-assed is generous to half-assed made things.
I think it's part of your character. You're in your mother's house because times are tough. Yeah. And, that's why there are photos of children behind you, hastily stuck into the Hoosier.
Oh, there's my cousin Leo, there's Major, some other people I don't recognize.
And, of course, there's a mess on the chair. Yeah. And here I come out of the closet. Which to me felt important because I thought if we open the front door, we're going to get glare behind me and it's going to be difficult. I wish you couldn't see the seam of light coming from the actual front door. Or that all our friends knew exactly the layout of the house so they could all say, why is she coming out of the closet?
All these gawping at her things. I don't know if... is that... me poking fun of the sexism of these noir things, or is this me just being sexist? I don't know.
That is the eternal problem of satire. Yes. By satirizing the terrible, problematic thing, are you contributing to the problem or commenting on it? I think that's a line a lot of people have difficulty walking.
That's fair. And just to do a little behind-the-scenes stuff, the reason I chose noir detective, a couple of reasons. We'd recently watched the movie Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Very funny movie. I think it's very successful. It doesn't quite hit on everything, but it's a very fun movie. You should check it out. Steve Martin. But the fact that it was in black and white, and I think the black and white doing it on the phone is like, oh, good, I don't have to color correct. So that was just one of those little things like, oh, this is a limitation, but it actually kind of helps us. Lauren's very proud of this shot.
I'm proud of all our tracking shots, which is setting up the camera and tripod on a Lazy Susan. And when I say camera, I mean cell phone, of course. Let's keep track how low rent this is. So just slowly turning the Lazy Susan. I think that was hitting the ladder that we have it set up on a little bit. Yes, positioning a ladder all around the front room to support the camera so it shows up in all of the glass and television that we have behind us quite often.
It's one of those, things that you're not going to get these on your network programs, but you're going to get it here. Also, I threw your hand down earlier, but I'm holding your hand again somehow.
I love your wordplay. I hope everyone gets, unless it's paired with a tickle. Man, I think you're so funny. And I love your words.
It's funny, too, because I've watched a handful of shows, like Arrested Development, which is one of the most perfect shows ever. There are plenty of times when they do the behind the head shot like this, where you could tell that the person...
It's not the real person?
No, it is the real person.
Okay, sorry.
But they're not saying the lines that are coming out of their mouths. And I'm like, well, you know what? If great shows like that can get away with not 100% great editing, so what?
I think that definitely shows too. Arrested Development having lots of tricksy editing and jokes and let's plug in a late joke here that we didn't record. But, we're obviously just as great, is what I'm saying.
I want to make that clear.
I like that. I'm sorry. I really like that look that you cut in there.
Yours?
It's just me looking kind of exasperated at you while you do your monologue.
That was another one that I might have had a cut. I don't remember exactly, but I might have had a cut here that I wanted to use parts from 2 different takes. So that's a real good. You go to a reaction shot.
Yeah.
And I've never been to film school. I'm a fan of movies. But there's a lot I don't know, and so I'm kind of having to teach myself this. And
I love that.
You have gone to theater school.
Yeah, took one film class, and also listened to YouTube plenty. So the small smattering of rules I've put together, 180 rule and such. Okay.
But it's it is. I think your eye has helped me a lot, whereas I very rarely have specific images for what I want to film. And so for you to have it how about we put the camera here? How about if we do this? How about this angle? It's that's great. I 100% need that, and I'm so grateful for that.
Speaking of eyes, I was really on purpose doing crazy eyes with this character. I wanted to be fake noir-y, a woman just unnaturally, turning her eyes around and being mysterious. And I hope that people read that as a weird choice. How are we taking this shot if they're both in camera, guys? How did we do that?
It's amazing.
It's I'm sorry, I'm really proud of that shot. With me, sneaking my hand up so I can turn the Lazy Susan to follow Sam while I stay where I am.
I am also proud of all your fun shots. That is exactly the kind of thing that I would not think to do.
And I'm being a child about it because it's like, hey, we did a thing. I'm so excited. Like, that worked. And it's so rudimentary and silly, but I like it. Like, I really enjoy the limitation of just what we can do together. And therefore, fun. We have to fake these things.
I also love it. This I had to do this is one. I taped over. You can't see it, but there's like an oval around that information. The femme fatale, Veronica Femme Fatale, her phone number. When I first shot it, you could really see that it was something taped onto it. So I had to. I did have to change the lighting and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Oh, this Ritz bit. So one of the things I thought I would do is have commercials for, like during the show. But then I kind of abandoned that. But we did film one Ritz commercial, so I wanted to have the Ritz in the show.
Like product placement.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you realize that's more work. I don't want to do that. Right. Wisely so.
Editing is so hard.
Then it makes it more cinematic. We don't have commercials. That's just, a corporate tie-in. You did such a good job on that. Stocking you purchased and pretended to knit. Why was it in the oven, Sam? This is no problem.
I'm not sure how much of this works.
Such a good girl.
Oh, man.
I was pleased. You were just a silly, funny boy.
There's that nail polish again.
And how you always have to carefully hold it so we can't see the back of the card. Like no human being does. I love it. But you're so super creative. How you figured everything out on your own. And I'm not saying like Spielberg is put to shame, but I'm saying that it's been awesome because you've figured it all out. And the editing software, which is more than I'd ever want to futz with.
You're very sweet.
That's true.
And I will take some compliment from this because I did work hard in figuring things out, but it's also like if I spent like maybe 1 hour more studying stuff, I could probably make a much better thing.
No, that's how you learn. How many people say don't go to film school, just get out there and start working?
How many people do say that?
Lots.
Do they really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's always the question of art school. Like, should you pay all that money for college? Just go start working, start creating.
This was rough too. There was a thing you could see like the camera moved a little bit, but I'm like, oh, I like this take, so I'm keeping it. And...
I love the inclusion of the animals. It's just friends in court. She's so cute. She doesn't care that he just murdered a woman.
Sam Sleuth.
I want to talk about the music a little bit. I wanted the music to be original to this, so I got a friend. I actually asked a friend, but he said, "Oh, it's not really my forte." So he got another friend of his to do the sound. I think the sound is great. Kevin Cablau, there he is right there in the credit. I think the sound is great. Unfortunately, he had a thing. We're going to talk about this in just a second. The Slingin'Tent Productions. But he had a thing where he ended up having to stop doing the music for the podcast or for the web series. I want to say, like I said, I think he did a great job with what he gave us. We are reusing some of the stuff he gave us, but then also in episode 4, which will be out eventually, there will be music that is from other sources, still free, which is what I want. I didn't want anything that like, I'm going to play like Peter Gabriel stuff, and then we can never monetize this.
We want to monetize one day.
We are not monetized right now.
We're doing this for the love of the game.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, and I honestly don't have huge like goals of like, yes, this is where I'm going to make my millions.
Which doesn't stop family from asking.
Yeah.
So how are you going to make money off of this?
Yeah,
that's...
I know. I think it's interesting. I think Mark Maron pointed out that like people never get rich from the thing they're famous for.
That's good.
Yeah. And I mean, just the idea that like you got famous for this, then you were on your way up. You didn't have a leg to stand up. Now you have a leg to stand up on. Then you can get an agent who can get you good prices. And then these other lesser projects that you do later on, that's where you make your money.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot was only paid $300,000 for the first Wonder Woman movie.
That's it.
Sorry, we just watched Wonder Woman 84 and I was reading trivia. And that shocked me. It seems crazy.
That really does.
And she got paid $10 million for Wonder Woman 84, on which she was also a producer.
That's a big jump.
So...
Yeah.
Story proven.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know. Oh, the production card. So this is another one of my things. I am an idea person, but I don't always know how to do it. So Lauren's a much better artist than I am.
I draw a little. I have not animated anything before beyond like the flip book with the rock rolling down the hill.
But this is what I needed, the flip book.
And yes, so you asked for a production card, and the way we figured out, okay, maybe we animate something through a flip book and film that. And so I painstakingly, never having animated, therefore trying to figure out, like, okay, how does even sizing work? Like, you kind of had the concept of what you wanted because you wanted Slingin'Tent Productions. Like, okay, so we'll do like
something we're totally ripping off wholesale from Scott Aukerman.
Of course, in a loving way. It's an homage. It's not thievery.
It is an homage.
But so, like, all right, so we're going to have the slingshot with a tent, and it's going to settle into a pleasant little camping space. Yeah. But, like, figuring out, gosh, how do you animate that? And, like, you have to keep the scale appropriate as, like, it's sinking into the background, the slingshot, and then the tent's coming forward. I actually cut out little models and, like, tried to get them incremental sizes so I could sort of trace and finish. So adorable. And just because I was so, like, how do you keep the sizing right? And, like, trying to get the angle and, like, and so it was, again, the most simple, like, tiniest touching on what animation might be, but just, and then you filming it through the glass coffee table because we needed to have the camera set somewhere stationary and facing directly down.
And just flipping it like that, it would be too fast.
So we just do.
So we had to
page, two page,
and then sped it up in post production. That's a term.
And then you did sound effects for it, and so it's again the tiniest little thing, but it's like, we made movie magic, and look at it. It's a picture that's moving. and I love it.
I love it too. And I felt bad giving you this a little bit, like, this project, because I didn't really think about how hard making a flip book would be, because I'm like, oh, you're the art person, you can do this. But at the same time, I gave you that. I think you did a phenomenal job.
And I'm sure for other people, it would be very simple. It's just, I don't know, I've never done. Okay.
But in fairness, I also gave myself a job. I'm like, well, these all need sound effects. So let's go out and find or make sound effects.
How did you do the gunshot? I forget.
I went to a website where they have sound effects.
Yeah. I remember you, but you were experimenting a lot with, like, okay, does this drum snare key on the keyboard sound close enough?
And so, like, excuse me. I can get into better detail about the production logo. Mm-hmm. The crickets are actually, I went to the front porch where we have crickets and just hit record. And the wind going over the microphone you could hear too. I'm like, well, that kind of works, actually. And I was proud of the slingshot because that was a rubber band that I had sped up digitally with, on Audible, which is it's a free software that is again, I'm not an expert. I do not know the first thing about sound design, but I'm like, it sounds great. The stuff that comes through Audible. And I'm sure, people who do this for a living, they're like, no, there's tons of things you can't do. But, like, for the beginner.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Guys, another reason I wanted to have this is because I do think that this is, I mentioned, being depressed. And I think we all need to be very open about mental illness and things like that. This is another thing, too. Right now, it is easier than ever to make your creation come to life because we have all these digital things at our disposal. And if I can put this thing on, if you have an idea out there, please go do it. You have the capabilities. And I want to see it if you do.
Yeah, that's incredibly true. And it's how so many successful people start. They just are producing their own thing that they love. And, making things just get you practice. And practice is really what's required to just build your skill. And I agree with you that now is, like, the best time to do anything. You can put something that looks pretty good together. And, you don't know where it will lead. But just doing it will keep your passion in it and will help you find the next thing that's going to lead you forward.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to put this out there, too. If you see things like here's a small one that I noticed the shift focuses sometimes when we're filming, even in still shot, it'll come in or come out. It'll focus on different things. I might be able to figure out how to do that. I think I can do that. But, like, if you, the viewer, see things that you're like, oh, that's a thing you could fix. I would love.
We'll take this.
Advice is great. Yeah. We are so grateful for everyone who watched, everyone who is watching, all the help we put into it, anyone who's shared it with friends. You guys are amazing, and we're not going off on tangents as much as I was hoping.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, this is okay. This is a good opening one.
Never notice.
This is good though.
I'll really dig into it next time. We'll come up with some questions. I want to ask about your process in writing. I think one of the exciting things way back this early, you weren't planning ahead really what you were going to do.
No, I was going to do episode by episode.
Yeah. So at this point, like, what did you really have in your mind that the show was going to be?
I did not.
It's so exciting. And scary. I couldn't believe you were doing it.
It's so I don't think of it that way because I don't know. It's just it's the confidence that like I'll be able to put something out. It may not be Shakespeare, but I'll be able to put some sort of period to this sentence. Right now, there's a lot of commas. Semicolons. Oh, I love the semicolons. But yeah, so that first one, all I knew was there's this femme fatale comes to visit this bit of a has-been detective. I'd recently watched The Maltese Falcon because I wanted to just kind of get my head moving around the noir genre, and that will come into play later. But yeah, I just knew that there was this woman who was going to spell trouble for this guy. Is she bad? I don't know. I mean, I do now. But at the time, I did not know.
You won't tell me.
No, I won't tell you. I mean, why should you know? You're just the actor who plays her.
Exactly.
So. By the way, I think you were doing an amazing job as Veronica and Femme Fatale.
You're very sweet. And I love what you're doing with Sam. Because I know you come from a place of thinking that you have not had acting training. And so I know it's something that you feel self-conscious with. And I think you're doing a great job.
Well, you're very sweet. I'm not... And it helps that I'm not much emoting is going on. Like I was worried at the end of that last one that, something happened. But yeah, I don't consider myself an actor. I do think I'm better than I used to be. I think it has to do with I'm much more self-confident than I used to be.
And you're learning. And I like that. Like this is a good process for you on that as well.
Yeah. Well, why don't we, I don't want this to get too long, but I just also wanted to just talk about our backgrounds a little bit. Because
Well, there's some books.
Yeah, no, not that kind of background.
The library. Oh,
no.
Right one out.
So I know I'm making it sound like we're a couple of nobodies who just wanted to make films. You do have some theater background.
We have information and ambition. We don't have actual.
I've studied with Upright Citizens Brigade, which has I didn't learn any film stuff, but it gives you.
You worked on the writing class and you worked on the performance, and that's all a big part of it.
Right. I was in the Upperclassmen, a Long Beach improv group where we also did some sketches, and we had a very talented cameraman / director, Brooks Davis, excuse me. And I think I owe a lot to him just watching what he did. We did a Ranger Sam thing, and I actually went to his house and basically was over his shoulder as he was editing, and so I learned a lot just doing that. So, I mean, we're not coming at this, completely with nothing, with empty hands, with empty brains.
We weren't just accountants before and thought, hey, let's make a series.
I'm still encouraging if you have something you want to do, go out and do it. Yeah. But yeah, so that's our background. And yeah, anything else you have to say?
No. No, I agree. I'm just, desperately touched by the people who watch it and people who compliment us on it. It's so sweet and lovely because it's terrifying putting things in the world. When you said all right, it's out on it's out on YouTube. I'm like, okay, that means people can comment on it and say things about us and be not kind. So that's great. But we've
mostly gotten kindness.
And I don't look at the comments just in case.
No, but I think we've only gotten kindness. I think it helps that
it's just our friends.
Yeah, it's just our friends watching it. Hi, friends.
But so we're very grateful for you guys.
Indeed.
And then also would encourage you, don't let criticism hold you back from doing things.
Exactly. And if you are somebody who doesn't know us and you're watching this, that's an extra special thank you.
Who are you?
You're amazing.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it is very much sweet.
Strangers are watching this?
Who knows? I'm going to put it out there that if you do like our sense of humor, if you do like our personalities, you can listen to our podcast, In Defense of Bad Movies, with our co-host, Bobby Mattern, who's also very funny. Or if you don't think we're funny, he is very funny, not also very funny. And our sometimes co-host, Laura King, who's also funny. And now I feel bad I didn't say very funny, but yes, she's very funny. And I think also I think it's a funny podcast, but at the same time we kind of like this thing where we may go off on tangents and we may joke around, but we're actually passionate about what we're talking about, and we're seriously talking about these movies. So
and
check
those
it
are
out.
on YouTube as well, right? Under
Yes, those
Slingin'Tent.
Although, yeah. So if that's how you ingest your podcast, then by all means stick with that. But we're also on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Libsyn is who we're through, so you can get it through there. But nobody just goes to Libsyn to get podcasts. I don't think, at least.
And we have a couple of other sketches that we have produced that are put up under Slingin'Tent on the channel on YouTube.
Just one right now, but in the future.
I keep pushing you.
Yes.
I'm like, do
I know.
it. Write me a starring role. And then I would strongly suggest checking out some of the upperclassmen videos. A lot of their sketches are up on YouTube. Sam has written and performed in several of them. Check out Ranger Sam. That one's very funny. We produced that together.
Yeah.
And that was exciting. I think it was good cutting our teeth for this.
I think so too. And if upperclassmen, check out other things too. I'm not in the group anymore, but I still support the group. They're a very funny set of fellas. I'll come to shows. Okay. Yeah. Other than that, gosh, you could check out my Instagram, which I don't use very often, at just Sam Bowen. You could also check out my other Instagram at La Vida Robo, which is I do pictures of robots, and I'm just gonna put all my creative stuff out there right now. And again, like I always have this being a creative, oh, I think I'm very funny. I want to put my stuff out there. Nobody wants to see my stuff. It's fine. No.
You're just shouting into the void, hoping it connects. That's what
exactly.
you do.
You say you like it? No, get out of here. It's not that good. Thank you.
Someone compliment me. No.
So, and that's another thing I want out there too. I think this is a very universal thing, not just of creatives. I think a lot of people feel this. And the more this information is out there, that's just awesome. I'm making it my New Year's resolution to be a better person this year, and
set yourself a really attainable goal.
Yeah.
Because you're already great.
Oh, you're sweet. It's a not quantifiable goal. That's kind of rough.
Fair. You get to define what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that does it for now. Next time we'll talk about Chapter 2. If you haven't watched it, do so. And if you have, do it again. Because we need those hits, baby! I don't know why. We're not, like I said, we're not monetized.
Just feels nice.
Maybe we'll set up a Patreon or
oh my gosh, it's so official.
Anyway, yeah. So, bye. Thanks for watching this. And take care. See you next time.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Don't get murdered. We're just going to steal lock the gates. We're going to steal every podcast thing. Now, this has been America's Podcast. Goodbye.